Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for a live show with yours truly, Kev Baker, right here on the Kev Baker Show on Truth Frequency Radio Network, www.tfrlive.com. Am I glad to be back? I took a little day off yesterday, a much needed day off, may I add. And what happens when I do that, on the very rare occasion that I take a day off, I know it doesn't happen often, but when I do, A, I'm twice as eager to get on air, and B, because there's been that little hiatus, maybe some of you out there are actually grateful to see me again because, come on, I do a lot of stuff between the YouTube and here on TFR, and I'm sure there are people out there who get a little bitty of Kev Baker fatigue. It's okay. It's allowed. I've had YouTube channels, I've had podcasts that I listened to in the past, and you listen to them and you listen to them, and sometimes it can go on, and it can become a little bit monotonous. But it's only once it disappears for a day or two that you start to appreciate just how much you like it. So hopefully that's the one good thing we can take out of my one day off. And there's always so much for us to be talking about. Absolutely so much for us to be talking about. And that's another good thing about the day off, right? Because once you take the day off, then what happens is stuff builds up and we're able to sit down, talk about it, and try and make sense of it. Now, this week on KBS, we are going guestless. Yes, we are guestless in Seattle, even though I'm not in Seattle. And my mother messaging me when she knows I'm on air right now. How rude. Yes, I'm on air right now. Hopefully she'll take the message. Terrible. These people that message you when you just go live on your own show, it's infuriating. I'm only joking, folks. But no, this week on KBS, we're going guest-free. Sort of. Now, what that means, sort of, either there's guests or there's not guests coming on. Well, there is, only it's all of you out there. Yes, recently in the show, I've been opening up the phones for the second hour. And that's good. We're going to continue to do that. But periodically this week and into the future, we're going to have entire shows that is dedicated to you out there. It's my way of saying thank you for some of the phone calls, or all of the phone calls that we've had so far. I'll repay that faith you've had in me by having faith in all of you. So wherever it goes, it'll be entirely up to you. Now, tonight we've got some news to get into. There's something really mysterious going on with the birds as well. And no, I'm not trying to sound like I'm pitching some new film for Alfred Hitchcock, some remake or something like that. But we need to take a little bit of a time out and take a look at what's happening to the birds out there. Now, we'll be getting into that as the show progresses. Maybe that might tie into some of the topics that you want to call me about. We've got some really creepy AI news as well. And I'm going to give you the odds on Paul Begley being right. Yes, there has been a calculation done to see just how much of a chance there is that we will go extinct next year. So we're going to get into all of this and in hour number 2, open up the phones for all of you. So I want to head on over to the TFR chat room first of all, the home of the Kev Baker Show, Truth Frequency Radio, www.tfrlive.com. Big shout out to everyone on iHeartRadio, TalkStream Live, TuneIn Radio apps. I believe this network, TFR, was number 5 in the top 13 paranormal networks for TalkStream Live in 2019. Very, very proud of that. Always good to make the cut, be mentioned in amongst the elites. Yes, the Clyde Lewises, the coast to coasts of this world. Our good friend Ryan Gable, he's in about there as well. So yeah, very good stuff. And I want to head on over to the chat room, and you can head there too. tfrlive.com/chat. So then, in there we have, it's very, very quiet tonight This will be my punishment for taking a night off yesterday. People will have thought, F him. We're not going to go and turn up to see him today. That's all right, folks. I'll take it. I'll take it on the chin. We've got Kenny in there. How you doing, Kenny? Yes. Somebody's posting pictures about some weird stuff going on. Always weird stuff going on in Woketopia, right? We've got Bam, Polynation, Bill 13, and the Wookie. And like I say, you can head on over there at tfrlive.com/chat. And we're also simulcasting on YouTube. Yes, indeed. I'm really enjoying these simulcasts. It's good to see the cross-pollination between the KBS YouTube audience moving over to TFR and vice versa. And on all the different information that opens up to all of you people as well, because it's not just me at TFR. I'm a very, very small part in a very, very big machine. And there's over 30 shows on there for you to choose from. So if you're into looking for information, and in particular, if you're into woo, and you want to find stuff that they're not talking about anywhere else, probably Truth Frequency Radio is your number one stop for all of the above. So then, I want to get into some local news in just a moment. But I've heard of blood moons, full moons, half moons, waxing moons, super moons, super blood moons, blue moons, all sorts of moons. But I don't know, and I'm not claiming. I want to make an announcement here. I want to make it very clear. I'm not claiming that this doesn't exist or it's some kind of Mandela effect I'm having. It's not that. But I had just never, ever heard of the beaver moon before. Yes, the beaver moon. Trust me, folks, if I had heard about a moon called the beaver moon before, I know I would have remembered it. The jokes that I have in my mind right now that I can't share with everyone, it's unbelievable. But yes, the beaver moon is a thing. So I go to the Express here, and I heard somebody talking about this in the chat room when I'd done a live stream earlier on today. Seen somebody talking about the beaver moon. And I thought they've got to be cracking a joke, right? Beaver moon. But no, they're not. So what is the beaver moon? Well, it says, when is the November full moon and what is the meaning behind its name? So a full moon, the so-called beaver moon, I'd never heard of this before. I know, call me stupid. Like I say, I'm not saying that it's not a thing. I'm just saying that I must be a bit stupid or something because I've never heard of this. So it says it promises to light up the night skies with its eerie glow. But when is the beaver moon and what is the meaning behind its unusual name? Yes, pray tell, I say. So it says the beaver moon is the 11th of this year's 12 named full moon phases. The beaver moon traditionally arrives 1 month after October's hunter moon. So you've heard of the hunter moon before. And precedes the cold moon in December. Does anyone else remember? I mean, is this am I like stupid? I don't ever remember like 12 moon phases or like names for the moon periods. Again, like I say, not claiming Mandela, not claiming any funny business. I'm just saying this is new to me. And again, beaver moon, highly, highly, highly amusing. Highly amusing. But let me just continue with this story here. It says the beaver moon traditionally arrives. Yeah, we've done that bit. So the full moon also marks the halfway point of the lunar cycle from one new moon to the next. So when is the November full beaver moon? It's going full beaver, folks. Have you ever heard of the beaver moon before, Anne? You haven't? Definitely not heard of the beaver moon? No? See, I'd have remembered a name like that, right? I'd definitely have remembered that. Anne's not heard of it either. So it says astronomers looking up at the skies on Monday, November the 11th, that was yesterday, might have been fooled into thinking the moon is already full. But the moon was still in its waxing gibbous phase and was only about 99% illuminated. The full moon itself only lasts a fleeting moment, but it marks the moment of full illumination by the sun. Viewed from Earth, the lunar orb appears to position itself head-on from the sun when the Earth is in the middle. Now, this full moon peaked today, November the 12th, around 1:34 GMT. Phases of the moon, we've got it here. I'll come back to that in just a moment. So it says, what's the meaning behind the beaver moon's name? Well, the beaver moon is just one of 12 named moons present this year. The beaver moon owes its unusual name to the oral traditions of the Native American tribes living on the US East Coast. November's full moon is also sometimes known as the frost moon or the geese-going moon. Did any one of you know that this was a thing? I am feeling really thick right now, really intellectually challenged. I truly am. So these bizarre naming traditions helped different tribes keep track of changing seasons. Names such as Strawberry Moon in May signaled the time was right to gather ripening wild strawberries. Isn't it interesting how we learnt the other day from Ryan that a beaver's bum tastes the same as a strawberry? And I'm not making that up, folks. It's what you're eating when you're eating strawberry and raspberry ice cream. I'm just saying. So it says here, useless fact, I know, but it says the pink moon in April was named after a type of pink ground flower sprouting around that time of the year. Amy Neeskins of the Old Farmer's Almanac Guide said, centuries ago, Native Americans kept track of changing seasons by giving a distinct name to the full moon, names we still use today. And like I said, I'd heard of like the harvest moon, the hunter's moon. I've heard of blood moons, which obviously doesn't tie into this. Maybe it does. But I'd never, ever, ever heard of the beaver moon. No, see, you learn something new every day in Woketopia. You certainly do. So now I know that there's these different periods and they've all got different names. And by the sounds of it, they can blatantly change it every year just to mess things up, just to confuse people like me, right? So yes, if you're looking out the window right now, we are under the beaver moon. The beaver is giving us the full moon. Who knew? I was just seeing if it smells of strawberry, since it tastes of that. I'm only saying, folks, I'm only saying. So then, let me come to some news that is very, very, very local to me. And I'm very proud of it. But we're going to see the two sides of where I stay in the next couple of moments. And of course, I stay in Glasgow. And I would never dare to claim that I'm Glaswegian. I'm very proud of the fact I'm from Inverness, and Glaswegians are very, very proud of the fact they're from Glasgow. But I've lived here 20 odd years now, and I can consider myself, almost a local. And today, or just the other day, sorry, in the BBC, we were told this. Glasgow is named the cultural and creative centre of the UK. How cool is that? I could have told people that ages ago. And there is a lot of culture here, I must admit. However, as we're going to see before the break, it's a tale of two cities. It truly, truly is. And Glasgow's always been a bit like this, There's a comedian out there. I can't remember if it was Frankie Boyle or if it was Kevin McIntyre. Was it Kevin Bridges? I can't remember which one it was, but they said, Glasgow, it's the kind of place where, people are going to be friendly as hell to you, but you're also running the risk of getting in a fight. But at least if you get in a fight after somebody's battered you, they're that nice and they're that pleasant. What they'll do is they'll phone you an ambulance and they'll wait till the ambulance comes. It's a joke, right? Because there's such a kind of contrast between what goes on in the city in different parts of it. But like we say here, it's named Cultural and Creative Centre of the UK. Glasgow has been listed at the top cultural and creative centre in UK in a report from the European Commission, no less. There you go. Following in the top 5 were London, Bristol, Brighton, Manchester, with Edinburgh just missing out on 6th place. Now, Dundee was the next Scottish city to be ranked, coming in at 12. And Glasgow came first for openness, tolerance, and trust, and cultural participation and effectiveness. Now, the study ranks 190 cities in 30 European countries on various factors. And you can see some of the bands here that we have come into play. And it says cultural vibrancy and creative economy. and the ability to bring in creative talent and nourish cultural engagement were all taken into account. And Edinburgh came first for cultural venues and facilities in the UK. So it says, the report said that Glasgow was one of the first European capitals of culture in 1990. Known as an industrial city, it has now gained recognition as a creative and cultural centre of European importance. Oh, yes. It sure feels like we're of European importance sitting in Glasgow. It surely does. But yeah, I remember when it was a city of culture back in 1990. That was one of the first times I ever came to Glasgow. We came down on a school trip. It was like coming to another planet because I'd never really been out of the Highlands before, and just seeing a road that had more than 2 lanes of traffic on it was kind of like daunting to me. So I was in awe. We went to the National Stadium, Hampden. We went to the Burrell Collection. They had Tutankhamun's gold through in Edinburgh at that time as well, and we went through to see that. So yeah, I remember my time well when it was the City of Culture in 1990. And here we are now, almost 30 years ago, where we've got Glasgow, the top cultural city in the UK. Yet, at the same time, folks, we've got a real problem, not just in Glasgow, but throughout Scotland right now. And from the very same website, the BBC, we have this here from just a week or so before that first story came out. This goes back to October. But while we're this cultural beacon of hope and diversity and trust and tolerance, according to the EU, the headline here says that drug addicts in Glasgow are to be offered help to cut the deaths. Because right now, this year, in Scotland in particular, we're in the grip of, I don't want to call it an epidemic, but certainly a wave, an increase in the amount of drug deaths that are going on as well. You see how this is a tale of two cities, and you get the kind of tourist public face of it, but then you just scrape beneath the surface, and it's the same everywhere. I get that, folks. It's just, it seems so far apart here at times in Glasgow, the haves and the have-nots. It's quite eye-opening. And like I say, it's a sick, dark kind of irony that, within weeks of them talking about the fact that we really need to do something to help drug addicts and to stop this kind of rising numbers of deaths involved, that we also get recognition from the European Commission saying that we're like the most cultural kind of city in the whole of Europe, blah. Yeah, maybe we should start helping the people in Glasgow first, and then we can start to be proud and sell ourselves on our cultural diversity and promotion and trust and tolerance and all those other buzzwords that we heard a moment ago. I wonder for the people that are suffering from drug addiction and maybe in the firing line when it comes to some of these deaths and things that are going around right now. I wonder how it makes them feel to know that we're being recognised for being this cultural beacon of hope in the EU. Yeah. So it says drug addicts arrested in Glasgow will be offered help to beat their habit in a bid to reduce drug deaths in the city. The short-term strategy will focus on the city centre, Calton, and Lower Denniston. I live in the Calton. We're right by the city centre, okay? So the move is in response to concerns from people in the community and local businesses. Police Scotland said that 8 days of action would be used to see how current practices could be improved. Vulnerable people will be referred to appropriate places for help. And it says, I think that's superintendent or Gary Jansen of Greater Glasgow's Partnership and Resourcing team said the police are expected to provide that enforcement role, and that's a crucial part of what we do. But there will be other things happening behind the scenes that the public might not see. Yeah, like the EU obviously didn't see when they were ranking our cool cultural experience that we have here. Yes. For example, looking at how we can support that person we've just arrested and get them to an outreach team and direct them to other partner agencies who can help them in the long term. You know, they say that people make Glasgow. That's like the kind of slogan that you see everywhere around Glasgow. If only Glasgow didn't look after its people just as much as people make the city. You know, if only they would look after the people of Glasgow, maybe we wouldn't be in a place right now where we're having to look at ways to curb and fight this kind of drug death increase that's been happening this year. So it says the force said it wants to break the cycle of criminal behaviour that often fuels habits, and additional high visibility patrols as well as plainclothes officers and outreach teams will work together to gather information during the scheme. And yeah, I mean, they talk about, like I say, I live in the Carlton and you see the odd uniformed one walking around, and it's quite laughable because it's almost like a token gesture, because any of the naughty stuff that might be going on, they just disappear for 5 minutes. And then once the police patrol's gone, the naughty starts again. So, yeah, I don't know how you tackle this. It's not a laughing matter. And like I say, Scotland this year has been a real problem with the increased drug deaths, be it here, be it Aberdeen, be it Edinburgh. And I know even up in Inverness as well now. You know, Inverness has got a problem. And for some reason, and I can't figure it out, it used to be that it was mainly the heroin. It was real bad here, especially in Glasgow. But now, and again, I can't figure it out because it used to be that cocaine was the more expensive kind of rich man's drug, but now that's everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And I can't figure it out. I don't know how it's getting here. I don't spend too much time thinking about that. But it's weird how it's changed over time. And again, you know, with most of the areas affected by high drug addiction, you find it's low employment, right? So how on earth's name are people even affording that stuff? I don't know. I wish I had the magic wand to solve all of these problems, folks. And I'm sure you do as well. But I just found it highly ironic, you know, that here we are being told we're this beacon of cultural significance, you know, number one in the UK. What was the headline again there, folks, just so we get it right? Number one in the UK for cultural and creative centre of the UK. And I ain't denying that there's a lot of culture here, a lot of creativity, you know, a lot of startups. We've got our own kind of Silicon Glen on the central belt as well, between Glasgow and Edinburgh. So yeah, I get it. I do get it. But at the same time, we're told people make Glasgow. People make the cultural and creative centre of the UK. Yet not as enough has been done to look after some of the people who need looking after the most. It's just one of those ironies that arises from time to time. It's the best of times, the worst of times, right? A tale of two cities. And of course, never forget, we're talking about smart city Glasgow as well, where all of us have had at least on average, 30 IQ points added to all of us. You know, because it's so smart. And because it's so smart, we're always being watched. And I'll be getting into that after the break. But if all this didn't depress you about Scotland and you still want to come here, I recommend that you try this out. This looks absolutely, if it's going to, it's good, it's loaded up. We are famous for having the deep fried Mars bar. We also do deep fried pizzas, don't we, Anne? One of your favourites. What if I was to tell you, though, Anne, Halls of Scotland are now doing a haggis, chips and cheese roll. Look at that bad boy. Yes, so now we're having haggis, chips and cheese. And you wonder why I get Don Wiskin onto the show once a month to talk about heart problems? I need Don Wiskin. Scotland needs Don Wiskin. We are the unhealthiest people out there. I'm having a laugh, folks. This isn't a joke. The haggis, the chips and the cheese like burger, it's a real thing. Now, we're not going as mad as America. We're not like fighting over Popeye's chicken or anything just yet. You never know, though. Maybe people will start fighting over haggis, chips, and cheese. And if that isn't enough, have a deep fried Mars bar just to wash it down, right? I'll be back after these short messages. I know you've got the munchies now. I do. I'll be right back. Yes, indeed, YouTube. Look at that thing. Wait till you see this, okay? Wait till you see this, YouTube. Oh, looky here. Look at that bad boy. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, indeedy. Halls of Scotland spark a food fight with haggis, chips, and cheese roll. I mean, I like haggis, I like cheese, and I like chips. Never had I put that together in a combo on a roll, though. Had you even thought of that, Anne? Haggis and cheese and chips? People in the chat room, yes. Oh, excellent. Somebody says, I've been on to Dana White about your three-way YouTube UFC fight in the hexagram, and he said on one condition, Begley is the special guest referee. Seriously? That's fantastic, Tony. And a big shout out to everyone out there. Exactly, Duncan. Deep fry that shit. Exactly. So a big shout out to everyone in YouTube land. I obviously give a shout out to the TFR chat room at the start of the show because KBS, TFR is the home of that. But you know, I've got my eye on you folk out there in the chat room as well. You know what? That's how I roll. Keep my eye on you all. Yes. Do you need me to blow it up a little bit in the chat room? Is it looking all right? I might need to blow it up a bit. There we go. It's looking a bit better now. Once I fix this, it'll look even better. Let's see. Yep. There we go. There we go. Looking bigger now. I can see you on screen. So yeah, when we come back after the break, folks, going to get into some Facebook news, some kind of techie news that I've got going on here. But then in the second hour of the show, I'm going to take a look at something kind of disturbing that I've been noticing playing out over the past couple of months. Haven't really said anything about it yet. I should probably wait and do more research into this, but you know how I go with my gut? Well, the gut told me at the weekend, in particular yesterday when I took the day off, Kev, it's time to cover this. And you know how it works, right? You know how it works. There's a new story about what we're going to talk about in hour number 2 has come out today. And it's all about what's happening to the birds. All about the birds. Find out in hour number 2 what's happening there. And then in hour number 2 as well, we'll be opening up the phones for all of you. So lots to come here today on KBS. My coffee. It's coffee beans. Oh, it is the bomb. Absolutely. I feel wired to the moon. Yep. Probably won't sleep for a week. It's that strong, but that's cool. That's how we roll. Lots of streaming to be done. Lots of shows to be done. No time to sleep, right? There is no time to sleep. So let's see what's happening here in the chat room. If you're a man and you want to destroy someone, and start running allegations. I got it figured out. I'm being sarcastic. You're right, though, Dan. Dan, you're right, though. You are right. That probably is one of the most effective ways to go after somebody, right? Probably. And if you want to offend somebody, do you want to know the effective way of doing that? Do you want to know the best costume you can wear to do that? Just go out as a white guy. That's it. I'll do it. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Moving into the second part of today's Kev Baker Show, right here on your number one network, where we offer you silence, or where we offer you protection from deception, and where silence is consent. Truth Frequency Radio, www.tfrlive.com. And I am coming to you from the number one cultural centre in the UK, Smart City Glasgow, where we also have a very, very, very terrible dark side, and we encourage people to eat really, really unhealthy. Anyone fancy some fried Mars bar? How about a little bit of haggis, chips, and cheese? You fancy a bit of that? No? Seen another one the other day? Chips, cheese, and curry sauce? Anyone fancy a bit of that? Yeah, we've got it. What? And Anne's telling me that chips, cheese, and curry sauce is actually nice. Go figure, folks. I'm not sure if I'd be too keen on that myself. But listen, we've got a lot more news to get into, and we're going to open up the phones in hour number 2 as well. Now, today, when I was doing the live stream on YouTube, you can catch that most days in between 5 and 7 p.m. in the UK. That's midday and 2 over on the East Coast, and that's 9 to 11 over on the West Coast. There'll be some time in about that time period I'll be on. And there was a story I did have pulled up that I was going to get into on the stream, but I thought, no, I'll save it for tonight because it leads into other stuff that we need to talk about as well. So I found this over the weekend. Well, it wasn't over the weekend, it was today actually. And it says, Facebook is secretly using your iPhone's camera as you scroll your feed. Now, for all of us here listening to this show, if you've been listening to it for some time, and even if you've been listening to other shows out there, not mainstream, but alternative, all kind of new media, alternative media, people you get on the YouTube like myself, people on networks like this, I would imagine that most of our audience here today fully aware of the fact that privacy is no longer a thing. We can no longer have any expectations of any privacy anymore, not in this smart world that we're living in. And a headline like this, to me and you out there, more importantly, it should come as no surprise. Now, even I'm guilty of the fact that from time to time when I am scrolling on the dreaded spy phone, I've got one here. I'm not speaking bad about anyone that's got an iPhone or anything like that. I've got one. But even I forget. It's like the boiling frogs, right? Because you'll forget that there's that camera on the front of the screen. Now, I would imagine that all of us here listening to this today, be it on YouTube, be it on iHeart, TalkStream, TuneIn, and the home of KBS at TFR, I'm sure we are all very well aware and are very open to the idea that anytime we are scrolling on our phones, be it Facebook, be it YouTube, be it Twitter, be it any of these big behemoth tech/social media giants, I would imagine that our cameras are always watching us. Even without getting into the nefarious surveillance side of things, purely for marketing and ad targeting. Because if they can tell what our eyes are looking at specifically on the screen, then they're able to tailor ads towards that. Now, I know that it goes a whole lot further than just them tailoring their ads. And I think we have to do our bit now to maybe help people around us who aren't quite up to speed the way we are on everything when it comes to the technology and the true purpose of it. I think it's so time for us now to really double down our efforts and start explaining to people. Because how we change this, I don't know. Again, it's like the stuff in Glasgow we were talking about before the break. You know, I wish I had a magic wand for that. I wish I had a magic wand where we could all go back to a place where privacy was a thing again. But we can't. So I think all we can do is be responsible and help those around us who don't know just how advanced this whole system's becoming. And just to give you an example here what this story is all about, and again, I understand most of you out there will know this, but yet let's use something like this to make other people aware. Sometimes we take it for granted that everyone's up to the same speed we're at, yet all of us are at different knowledge levels. All of us are uniquely different. And maybe sometimes if we have information like this and some of our friends don't, then like I say, surely our responsibility, not to change the world, but to look out for our friends, to let them know what's going on. And maybe, you know, if we get enough of us starting to complain about this thing instead of people just remaining silent and getting on with it, just so long as they can keep scrolling and keep getting their dopamine hits. It's that trade-off, right? People are willing to give up their privacy, every last bit of it. For what? For that dopamine hit. Because that's in reality what it's all about. You know, people would have balked and reacted and responded to the way Facebook treat us and our data a long time ago if it wasn't for the fact they'd literally got us hooked on it. Literally. The brain chemicals that we naturally produce, they've entirely hijacked that to the point now, like I say, where we're willing to give up privacy just to keep that going for a little bit longer, just to get those clicks and shares. It's insane. It truly is. I never thought it would get this bad, you know, even back in the day when you're talking about this system that they were building out. And I'm talking about way before they were rolling out or talking about 5G or anything like that. I never, ever appreciated just how complete this surveillance, this data gathering operation would be. Never in my wildest dreams, or should I say nightmares. It says iPhone owners, beware. It appears that Facebook might be we should be assuming that Facebook are actively using your camera without your knowledge while you're scrolling your feed. Now, I like how it says that there. It very deliberately says using your camera without your knowledge. It doesn't say without your permission, because we know we gave permission for this. This is the sick part of it. In that terms of service that none of us read. We all clicked OK. Why? Because we want on there. We want to connect with our friends. We want to have an account. Everyone else has got one. And then before we know it, yes, we're just making excuses because what we really need is the dopamine, right? So the issue has come to light after a user going by the name of Joshua Maddox took to Twitter to report the unusual behavior which occurs in the Facebook app for iOS. In footage that he shares, you can see the camera actively working in the background as he scrolls through his feed. Now, the problem becomes evident due to a bug that shows the camera feed in a tiny sliver on the left side of your screen. And when you open a photo in the app and swipe down, now TMW has since been able to independently reproduce this issue. So, like it's saying there, when this is actually happening, there's a slither of your camera that's available that you can see on the side of the screen. So it might be something that he's actually want to do right now. Maybe he's want to try this yourselves. I'm not sure. But it says Maddox adds that he found the same issue on 5 iPhone devices running iOS 13.2.2, but was unable to reduce it or reproduce it on iOS 12. So this sounds like something that's in the new updates. Quote, I will note that iPhones running iOS 12 don't show the camera. Not to say that it's not being used, he said. Exactly. Maybe the glitch isn't occurring. The glitch that allows you to see just that small slither that's obviously tipped people off to what's going on here. I would imagine it's always been going on. I would imagine this has always been going on. It's always been looking. Like I say, again, if they know where your eyes are on the screen, it refines the way that they're able to data mine things so much more effectively. And then they're able to really tailor that ad experience. And that means on the back end, the data they're holding on us, it becomes so much more valuable. So much more valuable. And they'll market that to potential ad buyers as well. So I would imagine that this might be something we're just finding out about or just able to prove now. But again, there you go. It used to be speaking to some of our friends about this, we would sound like crazy conspiracy theorists. We would sound like Mel Gibson in that movie. We would sound like that guy in Texas, you know, Big Jonesy. And people would go, oh, come on. You know the people I'm talking about, just your average people who ain't into the stuff that we're into. That they love the tech. They loved all the kind of wokeness and stuff. And, you know, when you can say, well, look at this. There's the evidence for what we're talking about. Look at your own phone. See how you can see that sliver of yourself? You know, that's when you hear the penny dropping. That's when you're able to really bring somebody to the party. At that point, it's hard for them to refute what they're seeing with their own eyes, especially if they're seeing it on their own phone watching them. And like I say though, folks, come on, let's be realistic. Especially for somebody like me. And if you out there, and you don't need to be in a designated smart city for this to apply to you. Even rural places now. You know, how many times, I know we're told in London and in Glasgow, because we're a smart city, if we're out working, your average day, you can expect to be caught on camera 300 times, something like that. But in reality, you know, how much of our days, how much of our lives are recorded somewhere, you know? And even if it's not recording audio or not recording video, stuff like that, you know, we're now living in a world where we've got all of these various health apps as well. And I get it, you know, technological age, sure. If we've got these things that can monitor our heart, our pulse, things like that, why not take advantage of it? You know? Can't hope to take on the new world order or fight the good fight if we ourselves are not in top shape. So you've got all of these health apps, or as some articles are now calling them, the scary health apps. Why? Because it's the same as any other app. Yes, you get something on the front end. In this case, it gives you all your vital statistics. It'll probably offer you ways that you can improve on your health. But really, that's not what it's all about. It's about gathering data on you. And then where does that data go? Who's interested in how many steps you took, or what your blood pressure might be, or your respiratory system, your cardio system, all the rest of it? Who's even interested in that? Oh, you'd be surprised. Oh, you'd definitely be surprised. And that's why big data, big business. So the New York Post here is reporting all the scary ways that health apps are using your data. So I think this could be interesting to take a look at. Now, when we come back after the break as well, and if we've got time here, we've got a really kind of weird AI to look at, and it ties in with health. So it says, is fitness tech counting steps or overstepping? Last week, Twitter users flew into panic after learning that Google is acquiring Fitbit, the trendy fitness tracking watch, for $2.1 billion. Yes, that's $2.1 billion with the B. I can imagine money like that. The freakout centered on user data, specifically Fitbit users' concerns that their exercise, food, weight, and sleep data would become less secure. See, I didn't even know it captured data on you when you're sleeping. I still had an expectation that we might have actually got a bit of break when we were sleeping. Maybe we got some peace. Nope. So although Fitbit said in a press release that it will never sell personal information, of course not, and promised that Fitbit health and wellness data will not be used for Google Ads, users are skeptical. I might not be a user, but you can definitely color me skeptical on that one. And they may have reason to be concerned, according to NYC lawyer Gary Schober. Once you sign into an app, you're often just giving everything away, the cybersecurity specialist tells the Post. He would know part of his job is writing those long, barely skimmed privacy agreements for apps. Oh, you absolute devil. What an impish job to have. Imagine that's your existence, writing those terms of service that nobody writes. You're writing into law ways to screw people, knowing that they're never going to read them. Oh, how do you sleep at night, man? Well, let's look at his Fitbit. I bet he sleeps like a baby. Companies can collect whatever info they want and can use the info any way that they want, as long as they tell the people. Says the attorney who says he drafted a bunch of very favourable policies for my clients. Well, obviously, you're going to say it's favourable for your clients. That's what it's all about. They're using your legalese to shaft people, dude. So because it's not very likely anyone will read it anyways. So what happens once your health data, anything from your step count to your diet, are shared or sold to a company? Most often it's nothing too scary, says Schrober. Typically, advertisers use health data to better target their ads with no sinister intent. But that doesn't mean that things can't get sinister. For instance, if outside parties, such as insurance companies and prospective employers, get a hold of your health data, the ramifications could extend to big insurance premiums and even missed career opportunities. You know, people's social media profiles are already doing that. It's already hindering them in the workplace. It's preventing people in some cases from even entering the workplace, let alone going on to get a successful career. Your social media profile. Again, see, sometimes we just lose sight of what we're doing online and things, and we don't really appreciate the real world long-term ramifications of things that are going on online. It's a weird time to be alive. It truly, truly is. But it's a great time as well. It says, plus there's the president for Google getting into hot water over sensitive health info. In 2017, the University of Chicago Medical Center teamed up with the search engine giant with the goal of sharing anonymous patient data so techies could analyze it and see if they could improve diagnostics with that information. But in June, both Google and the medical center were sued for not properly anonymizing. That's it, anonymizing. I got it. A big word for Kev there. Hundreds of thousands of patient records. So spokespersons from Google and the University of Chicago told the New York Times that they followed medical privacy guidelines. It's important to note that not all health gadgets and apps are built the same. For example, doctor login portals, which your doc may ask you to download and use to schedule appointments and to share test results, are protected by HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. But if your doctor didn't sign off on your tech, assume that your user data is fair game, says Schober. Here, he and fellow experts break down the potential pitfalls of uploading your health information to your phone. So it talks about the fact that you can be tracked, your movement and step tracking. Apps that log distance, pace, and time of aerobic exercise are so popular. iPhones started offering a pedometer feature with the iOS 8. It tracks steps without you ever asking it to. But from a data perspective, you could stroll right into trouble if you have a sedentary spell. Leave your phone at home or go off the grid. Let's say suddenly you're not using your phone as much as your average pace per mile goes down significantly, says David O'Klein, NYC data privacy lawyer. It's possible that an entity could discern that you have a health condition. Now, that information could in turn be used by health insurance companies to determine you are a risk factor and offer you a higher rate. Even if it's not true, it could still influence their decision. So all of a sudden, you're not able to go out walking as much as you used to. And then the next time you go for health insurance in America, you find that your premium's gone way up because they just assume that there's something wrong with you. Yeah, that's your data working for you, right? Women's health. Women want to know when it's that time of the month. And so do some men. Come on now. Come on. They maybe don't identify as men anymore, but they do. And thanks to numerous apps, and it doesn't matter what kind of app that they make, Apple iStore is never going to create an app that allows men to have a menstrual cycle. I know that's going to trigger some of the people out there in Woketopia, but it's just biology. I know apps are good. There's not an emoji can cover it either. What can I say? We're just going to have to deal with it. We made it, 2019 so far without men having periods? I think we can keep going just a little bit longer, at least till the apocalypse anyway. But if your cycle changes significantly, says Klein, it could suggest to the health apps and anyone else who has your info that you're pregnant, whether it's true or not. Wow. Jeffrey Newberger, another NYC tech lawyer, says that information could have scary practical effects if it gets into the wrong hands, says a hiring managers. Quote, a prospective employer might not want to hire someone who will be out on maternity leave. Now, that's something that's always existed in the workplace, I would imagine, and probably something that has contributed to the historic biases and sexism in the workplace. Oh, kept talking about sexism in the workplace. Yeah, folks, I do appreciate that historically that's been a major, major problem. But it doesn't mean I have to go full woketopia and virtue signal, start losing my crap and telling everyone about it every 2 minutes. You see where I'm coming from there? I hope you detect my sarcasm. So it says there are also mental health consequences to consider, particularly around fertility issues. For example, if period tracking data tips off companies to a woman's fertility struggles, that would allow IVF companies, for example, to target women, says Newberger, possibly stressing out women struggling to conceive. Or pregnancy tracking apps can miss the memo during a miscarriage, as a Washington Post writer, Gillian Brockle, called attention to last December. Brockle described brokenheartedly receiving early motherhood ads after learning that her baby would be stillborn. Wow. Other women have spoken out about similarly upsetting experiences because their data was sold in the back end without that latest addition to the story. That's pretty shocking. Pretty cold. Food and diet. Have a cheat day coming up. It could come back to bite you if you log into your food tracker, or even if you order a caloric feast via a delivery app. If my whole diet consists of nothing but pasta and bread, life insurance companies aren't going to be happy about that because it's likely to reduce my life expectancy, says Schober. It might sound far-fetched, but insurance companies are clearly paying attention to our diets. One, John Hancock, offers incentives and benefits to policyholders for buying more fruits and vegetables and whole grains as part of a vitality program. So what's to stop companies from doing the reverse? Then there's the direct threat to your health via temptation, as advertisers pinpoint your junk food weak spots. Yeah, it knows exactly what Hershey bar to put there. It knows exactly what brand of sweets, ice cream, whatever your poison is. Oh, it knows how to get you going. Never did I think the world of advertising and stuff like this would be so tailored to the individual. It's creepy. So it goes on to talk about the heart monitor, feeling anxious, hitting a hard workout, chugging coffee. You might want to switch off that heart monitor app. Say your heart rate spikes beyond a certain level. It could indicate a heart condition. But then again, it could just be your heart rate elevating for some reason. Now, that doesn't mean that you have one. It could be completely coincidental, but these algorithms are unbelievable now. Passing out your heart health stats can have alarming outcomes. Not only could it raise your insurance premiums if the companies find out, but info on your heart health could also be factored into real estate decisions, whether like somebody wants to lease you a place or give you a loan. So yeah, there's some of the ways that some of the kind of data that's been garnished from our Fitbits and our health apps, how it's been used. Sometimes, even when we're aware of the game here, the fact that it's all about getting our data, be it health data, be it data from social media, who we contact, where we go, regardless of what these apps claim to do or what these websites claim to do, it's all about the data. Everything's about the data. And it's got to the point now where they know that much about us. There's an AI that can predict when you're going to die. Join us after the break. Don't go anywhere. Yes, indeed, folks. I'm still here. You're still stuck with me for now. Hour number 2 coming up. Yes. That means it's my colourful bovine. I better not say the actual name of the thing. I don't want to get done for product placement, right? So colourful bovine juice. It gives you things. Rhymes with wings. Did you like that, Anne? Colourful bovine juice. Pink bovine. Okay, so let's see what the chat room are saying. Let's see what you're saying out there in YouTube chat land. Let's see. I will be putting the phones on, folks. Well, Marty. A big shout out to you, Marty. Mannerus, the dude. Susie. NorCal Targeted. We've got Austin in there. Greg. Santa Claus is AI. Maybe he is. You know, I mean, I still believe in Santa. I still believe, but even if you don't, you know, if enough people think about it every year, does that not make it a thought form like we talk about? Does that not mean that it is real? Because enough people think about something? Hashtag Santa Matters. See? There we go. We want Karlstrom back. Yeah, go and speak to Karlstrom then. Karlstrom left my show because my intro music has satanic connotations to it. Yeah, so if you want to get Karlstrom back on the show, maybe you need to have a word with Karlstrom. Because last time I checked, there ain't nothing satanic about my intro music. So, yeah, there you go. We've also got Duncan. Duncan McConaughey. I like it. I got that wrong. McCockiner. Oh, it's a cool name. North Cal, if you want to hear from Dr. Karlstrom, he's out there doing shows, dude. He's out there, man. Yep. But he just won't work with me because I'm far too satanic. I've got a triangle logo and people lose their crap when they see triangles these days. Go figure. Yes, indeed. So when we come back, I'll quickly get into the AI that can predict when we're going to die. I'm not even making it up, folks. But then we've got this other thing going on as well. This other thing going on with the birds. Yes, and I'm not talking about a Hitchcock film either. That instrumental music be calling up the devil, I know. Gradient, I have got no idea exactly. It got me out of the blue as well. Never had... Did I? Yeah, I did have one other person complaining about the theme music at one point. They said my theme music is blasphemous because it says it's as mad as hell and it's not going to take it anymore. God damn it. Yeah, I really think people need to get offended over the right stuff in the world. That's all I'll say to that. The birds have lost their way. Yes, indeed. AI is in NorCal's head. No joke. I'd love to be able to tell you where to go with that, dude. I really would. But like I say, old Karlstrom, he just decided it was... The Kev Baker show was no more. No, that's it. We've got Ella Free on the network, on TFR. She has a show every Friday. I know she talks a lot about the targeted kind of stuff. Hopefully she'll be able to get Dr. Karlstrom on. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I do miss the doc. I do. A cool character. Some of the deepest and best information on all the psyops, all the audio weapons, all that stuff. Great stuff. Here we go. Welcome back. Hour number 2 on today's Kev Baker show right here on TFRlive.com. Truth Frequency Radio, where silence is consent and where we offer you protection from deception. There's always deception flying around in these times of the apocalypse, right? So before the break, I was talking about the AI and all the data that we knowingly and unknowingly leave behind us, be it our iPhones, our Androids, our Samsung phones, Internet of Things, sensors here, sensors there, sensors everywhere. All of this data, our medical records, our education records, our careers, everything now online in ones and zeros. And the benefit of all of that being put together, especially when you start to factor in AI, is that the more data that they have on you, the better they can get to know you. They're able to spot patterns within your data that you yourself have no idea exist. And not only that, but now, because we continue to leave data and we continue to amass more medical records and we continue to produce more training sets for AI to learn from, we're now living in a world where this is an actual thing. Yes, the AI or this AI knows when you'll die, and what's creepier is its creators don't know how. So it says here, researchers from Pennsylvania healthcare provider Geisinger have trained an AI to predict which patients are at high risk of dying within the next year. They fed the AI 1.77 million electrocardiogram, or better known as ECG logs, measured in voltage over time from 400,000 patients in order to detect patterns that could indicate future cardiac problems, including heart attacks and atrial fibrillation. Now, the results were impressive and a little scary. The AI model performed better than existing methods, according to the researchers, at distinguishing between patients who will die within a year and those who survived. So, quote, no matter what, the voltage-based model was always better than any model you could build out of things that we already measure from an ECG. And that was somebody called Brandon Fornwalt, lead researcher of the study at Geisinger. Now, the model even detected heart problems in patients who previously were cleared by cardiologists. So it's looking at the ECG patterns for people. The doctor who's got 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years of experience is looking at the exact same printout. Doctor says, you're cool, you got a clean bill of health. But the AI, this is the patterns again, remember? Just slightest of variations on one of those little curves or spikes on the graph. And it's able to go, wah, wah, wah. No, hold on. There is a problem here. And statistically, it's working out. It's right. So it said that finding suggests that the model has seen things that humans probably can't see, or at least that we just ignore and think are normal. Fornwalt added, AI can potentially teach us things that we've been misinterpreting for decades. And this isn't the only attempt in harnessing the power of machine learning to predict death. Last year's researchers at Google in Mountain View, California, created a predictive model using electronic health records to predict a patient's length of stay and time of discharge, as well as the time of death. And AI models have also been used to diagnose heart disease and lung cancer, in some instances more accurately than human doctors. Now, that's why when it comes to AI like this, and folks, this kind of narrow, specific AI will never take over the world. Let's drop the AI on this and just think of it as purely software, okay? Just think of it as a program, because this isn't the all-seeing, all-knowing, omnipresent AI that has people rightly worried. And if this program, if we can take some of the fear out of something like this, we'd be wrong to turn our back on a technology that's quicker than humans at spotting potential problems. Again, we mustn't mistake this with the all-seeing, the all-powerful, the omnipresent, ever-watching, always learning, always knowing AI, that artificial general intelligence. This is the stuff here. This is the kind of thing here. This is the kind of machine learning that we can work alongside and raise ourselves up. Okay? That's why sometimes I think we're maybe too quick to condemn all forms of AI. And I get it. I've probably contributed to some of that hype over the years. But you know me, I'm not the only person that hypes this kind of thing up, right? Because Elon Musk, let's go and see what the Muskinator is saying about this kind of thing before we move into the more mysterious kind of woo that I've got for today. And it's not really woo. It's just something I've been noticing going on. And then we'll get the phones opened up as well. But what's Elon saying when it comes to AI? Well, you know what Elon says when it comes to AI all the time. Did I almost call him Eli? Is he like Elon intelligence? I know some people out there think he's not even human. Who knows? So it says Elon Musk issues an apocalyptic warning about a digital superintelligence denial. So if people are in denial about this thing, here's Elon's warning. Climate change deniers refuse to admit that human-caused global warming poses a grave threat to life on Earth. You see, I'm not a climate change denier. Climate's always changing. You'd be mad to say that climate doesn't change. So I don't think any of us are denying that. We do have problems with what's causing it though, right? But Elon Musk has once again warned of another existential danger that many people are failing to face up to. The billionaire is an outspoken doom-monger who fears super-smart computers are destined to conquer the Earth and annihilate humanity. Dun, dun, dun. Now he's issued a warning about the dangers of denying the threat of that, quote, superintelligence possesses to our species. On Twitter, so he's back then. Remember Joe was saying he'd quit Twitter? Musk responded to a tweet from writer Robert McFarlane, who quoted a New York Times article and wrote, I wonder if the essence of climate denial among disbelieving Americans is an unwillingness to accept there is anything in this world so powerful it could overrule them. Musk then replied, same goes for the digital super intelligence denial. It's hard for us though, right? When you think about that, it's hard for us to imagine something more intelligent than us because we've always pretty much been at the top of the kind of the pile, right? We've always been pretty much the most intelligent, sentient species that we've ever come across. So it is kind of hard because we arrogantly think we are great, and we are. We're amazing. As much as thinking we can do with this kind of quantum computer that we've got in our skulls right now, you know, we've really taken that to the capacity. In fact, we've probably overclocked what we can do with that bag of water that sits between our ears, right? And that's why it's kind of hard for us then to think of things way more intelligent. It's going to take another different way of thinking. It's like when you hear people saying that you can't fix a problem with the same level of intelligence that created it. Well, on the flip side of that, you can't possibly imagine extra levels of intelligence if you're just coming from a very, very, very unadvanced level yourself. Now, I don't think we're the top or the brightest and the best out there in the physical universe. Can't prove it. But I would imagine that if we were to be lined up against any other sentient, intelligent species out there, we probably wouldn't feature that highly, in fact. So that's why I think it is hard for us sometimes. Not the climate stuff. I'm not talking about that. It's hard for us to really picture or understand what something that would possess such intelligence would be like. We gauge it so much on what we know, what we're familiar with, you know? Even when it comes to the AI, I would imagine 99% of the ideas and the opinions that we hold on AI have been given to us from Hollywood, TV shows, books, amateur clowns like me. Does that really take us close to what a super intelligent, artificially intelligent thing's going to be, though? What does that even mean? What is there to be more intelligent about? You see how we're limited? It's hard for us to think outside of our own brains, so to speak. Very, very, very good point Mr. Musk makes here. But Elon's fears are shared by many experts, most notably the late Stephen Hawking. Yet it's quite out of step with some of the billionaire techno-optimists of Silicon Valley. It says last year it was claimed that Google founder Larry Page dismissed Elon's fears as speciesist during an argument at a Napa Valley party in 2015. So Elon's fears as speciesist. Yeah, that's actually they've made that's actually a word now. Speciesist. Not sexist, not racist, but speciesist. God. Only in Woketopia. Especially from Silicon Valley in Woketopia, right? A top professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology alleged that two tech moguls clashed in a long and spirited debate in the early hours of the morning. And in his book, Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence, Max Tegmark, who I'd love to get on the show one day, says that Page's main concerns were that AI paranoia would delay the digital utopia and or cause a military takeover of AI that would fall foul of Google's Don't Be Evil slogan. You mean the Don't Be Evil slogan? It used to be really in your core values, but now you've slipped it to the back of your, bump about what Google is. Yeah, whatever. So it says Elon kept pushing back and asked Larry to clarify details of his arguments, such as why he was so confident that digital life wouldn't destroy everything we care about. At times, Larry accused Elon of being speciesist, treating certain life forms as inferior just because they were silicon-based rather than carbon-based. You couldn't make that up. Elon Musk he's a speciesist because he's looking negatively because of something's made out of silicon instead of carbon. I can't believe I'm even saying this, folks. I can't. But whether it's the AI that poses us an existential threat, whether it's the asteroids that I've been talking about more recently as well, there is something weird going on. There's something very, very weird going on right now. Now, again, it's one of these times when I have to really give the disclaimer that I'm not claiming that the end of the world is nigh. I'm not even saying that anything out of the ordinary might be happening. But when I see things occurring, you know how I roll. It was Clyde Lewis that taught me, when you start to see patterns, when you start to see stories reappearing, similar storyline, similar events happening, pay attention. Sometimes it means something, sometimes it doesn't. And like I say, I decided yesterday to talk about some of these things anyway that I have been seeing now for a while. And then this morning, I get a new story to add to the pile. And that's where we're going next. Because we're going to get into what's happening with the birds, folks. Now, I remember a few years ago, can't remember what year it was specifically, but it was on Boxing Day. And I want to say again on New Year's Day. And it happened 2 years on the trot in the same place. But we had thousands of birds falling out of the sky dead. Now, whether there was ever an explanation or a satisfactory explanation that came up for that or not, I'm not too sure, but we're back here again. And it's not isolated incidents. And that's why, if it was just a one-off here or there, I wouldn't bother you with this. I wouldn't tell you maybe this is something to keep an eye on. And again, even if it's something to keep an eye on, I still don't know what it truly means. And there can be so many logical and non-conspiratorial explanations for large bird die-offs, large fish die-offs, anything that affects animal population, wildlife, even humans. There's going to be logical explanations sometimes. But then there's other times when the scientists just don't have any idea, or do they? And they're just not telling us. Before we get into some of these stories that are doing the rounds, let's think about it. Let's brainstorm it ourselves. What's happening with the birds? Why are we getting pockets of birds dying off? More so in the past couple of months, as we're going to see in a moment. And I haven't forgotten about the phones, folks. I haven't forgotten about this, but because this was one that I was going to speak to anyway, and then we get this news story about more birds today, something I really feel I need to kind of get out there. Again, could mean something, could mean nothing. But I've got a funny feeling we're going to be coming back to this day, this first time I brought this up. In the next few weeks, I think something else is going to add to what we're looking at here. I think we're entering one of those future affects the present type scenarios. There's something down the pike that hasn't happened yet that's already started to make these stories come into my line of consciousness. I know, sounds full new age woo, right? But let's get into it here. So this one that turned up today from the BBC, Rajasthan, or Rajasthan, thousands of birds found dead in India's Sambar Lake, 12th of November 2019. More than 1,000 birds have been found dead along the shore of India's biggest inland saltwater lake, a senior forest official has told the BBC. Now, the birds were discovered around Sambar Lake, 80 kilometres southwest of the city of Jaipur in the northern state of Rajasthan. Now, the dead include a number of different species, including migratory birds who flock to the lake every year. And the deaths are being investigated by government agencies. We're still counting the number of birds, said the senior forest official Sanjay Kaushik. And he goes on to say they were strewn over the entire area around the lake. Some 20 to 25 birds who were still alive are being treated. So there we have this in India. When it comes to these kind of things, I like to think about all the options. Now, could it be something magnetic? We heard there's migratory birds have been involved in this as well. Could it be something to do with the reduction in our own magnetosphere, that kind of invisible force field that we've got around the planet, protecting us from cosmic rays and particles and things that we probably haven't even imagined yet? Something to do with the polar north on the wander? Is it something to do with the birds, their navigation? It's doing something to their brains? I have no idea. Is it something more along the lines of toxic pollution? Something like that? Could it be some illness that the birds are starting to suffer from? Could it be none of those and something we haven't even thought of yet? Well, it could be anything because we're not being told. And like I say, it's not the only case. Far, far from it.
Along the coast, dead birds, one after another, found floating in the ocean. And tonight, the big mystery, what is causing them to die? Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Chuck Henry. NBC4's Vicki Vargas. She's in Dana Point right now, where she's been meeting with some of those wildlife experts. Vicki.
And it turns out, Chuck, those experts are about to defer to even more experts. That's because the dead birds recovered in this harbor today will now be sent to the State Department of Fish and Wildlife. They want to find out what caused these deaths and why there were so many in such a short period of time. Experts with the Wetlands and Wildlife Center are calling this a mass incident based on the number of dead birds they have plucked from Dana Point Harbor.
I wouldn't have any idea what would kill them. Maybe there's a disease going around with them or something. I don't know.
The carcasses began appearing yesterday, and by this morning, 8 dead birds had been spotted in and around this jetty. Workers were able to recover 4 western grebes and 1 blue heron.
And this is the time of year where a lot of these type of illnesses do come up, but they usually come up as individual animals, and we've gotten quite a few groups in our hospital that have certain symptoms, but not obviously this detrimental.
And this is the thing. So we've got this here happening on the US East Coast as well, I believe. Says dead birds have started appearing on October the 10th, with more appearing on Sunday and Monday of this week. Now, the centre made what it calls an unexpected discovery, learning that the recovered seagulls were infected with botulism, which is usually found in human food. Now, that's not the only weird stuff with the birds, though, right? Because we come over here again, October, and I'm sure we covered this at the time. Mystery bird deaths as dozens fall to their deaths from a tree. And it says here, a shocking video appears to show birds plunging to their deaths outside a hospital in the West Midlands in England. Joshua Brown had been visiting his grandmother at the University Hospital Coventry in Warwickshire when he noticed a bird falling from a tree. He then started filming and captured several others seemingly plunging to the ground around him. Now, at the time, I remember people saying, well, is this 5G? And this is something else that we're going to have to factor into our list of potential causes. Now, when it comes to the 5G, and this means nothing, it means nothing. Evidence value, it's circumstantial. But living in Glasgow, where 5G's been tested and 5G is live, Edinburgh as well, we've got 5G there, number of cities down in England, I would expect if it was that, we'd have been hearing more cases in Glasgow, Edinburgh, the UK. But again, like I say, folks, that means nothing. That's just the way my brain's working, okay? If these signals are doing something in that one tree down in England, per se, or for example, then you would expect it to be happening with the same frequencies anywhere else we find them. Now, the one we started off, India, do they have 5G over there? I don't know. I can't say definitively they don't, but I wouldn't think so. So can we rule that out? And it's not done there because there's more. And this comes from October as well. And this was one of the very first ones I seen. And it says Anna Maria Island resident Jeannie Bystrom, who frequently rescues pelicans tangled in fishing line, found 23 dead laughing gulls on a recent trip to Passage Key, north of the island. It's the latest place where gull deaths have been reported this month, along with deaths on Anna Maria Island and Lido and Siesta Keys in Sarasota. Now, one thing I have noticed, folks, personally, and this has been going on for some time, this isn't just anything new, but the birds seem to be going all night. I know. It's weird. Maybe I've never paid attention to it before, but I always used to remember birds chirping in the morning, you know. Early bird catches the early worm. Sayings after it. Not anymore. It's like these damn things are out all night. Now, could that be something to do with the magnetics? Could that be something to do with telecommunications frequencies? Again, no expert. But that would certainly tick the box for me, maybe. It's just knocking the wildlife animals just out of whack. How often have we said in recent times that we're all out of whack? Our sleep patterns, day-to-day life, finding ourselves getting stressed, agitated over things we maybe wouldn't have before. That out of whackness, out of balance that we've talked about before. We share a planet with the birds. We share a very, very close relationship with all the other species on this planet, even if we don't appreciate it or not. And if we're seeing the birds out of whack and we're out of whack, then maybe everything's out of whack. And if everything's knocking, or if something's knocking everything out of whack, then it begs the question, what is it? I'll be back after the break. We'll be opening up the phone lines right here on the Kev Baker Show. Don't go anywhere. Oh, yes, it's now over to you. What do you want to talk about for the remainder of the show? Well, we'll find out on the other side. Don't go anywhere. There we go, folks. And like I say, before I get chastised and people laughing at me for saying birds die all the time, Kev, I don't know. Birds do die all the time. We have got die-offs happening all the time. But these are ones that just sneaked their way into the stuff I was looking at. And that's why I eventually started paying attention. And it was weird. I decided to talk about it today. And boom, that new story comes out. Because I was going to get into that during the daytime stream today at one point. But that's roundabout when we had the new bird story emerging from India. It's weird. I don't know. It's just strange, folks. It's out of place. But at the same time, weird stuff happens. You know, birds do die. Animals do meet unfortunate, untimely, and sometimes inexplicable deaths. I get it. So please don't think I'm trying to, like, hype things up. Or I don't think I put it in the title, so it's not even like I'm using it to bait people in to listen to the show or anything. Because you know stuff like that, people do click into it. So yeah, keep your eye on it. Keep your eye on it and let's see if anything does continue to happen on this kind of topic, this kind of theme. Like I say, I've got a funny feeling something is going to happen a few kind of weeks from now. I don't know, it's just a feeling. Maybe nothing. Maybe we'll never talk about the birds again. But I can almost feel Scotty Lopez bringing up a story about birds and me going, oh, here we go. We're on it. Yes, exactly. First world problem. Haggis is what we need. Haggis and Tiffany, you're so right. The bees dying off. Now that, wasn't it Einstein? I think it was Einstein that said once the bees go, we've got about 4 years. I tell you what, the beers, get the beers in. The bees have been struggling for a while now, big time. Yep. What else is happening in the chat room? Let me see. Vape companies, they obviously haven't paid enough. They're not getting the good media right now, are they, Tessa? Agreed. Yes, indeedy. Alan. Big shout out to you, brother. Big shout out. Damn. What else we got in here? So yeah, when we come back after the break, we will be opening up the phones. Let me see. I think I've got the phone number somewhere. I can put it on the screen for you. But we'll get it. I'll be able to drop it in the chat room anyway. No, I must have deleted it. What a dauber. No, there it is. No, I deleted it. Yeah, there it is. We'll get there in the end, folks. We'll get there in the end. There's the numbers there. If you want to call me. Where's the best place to put it? Put it up here, right? There you go. You see it up there? Surely you can see it up there. I would think so. Okay, we're about ready to go back to the network. Let's see, we're nearly ready. Did I see whistles in the chat room? There you go. Whistles in the chat. Whistles, computers blowing up. Can you believe it? Not good. Not good at all. We're missing you, Whistles. Right, where are we? We're ready to go back live. 3, 2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, final segment of today's Kev Baker Show right here on TFRlive.com. Big shout out to everyone at the home of the Kev Baker Show at TFR Live. And also iHeartRadio, TalkStream Live, TuneIn radio apps, any of the terrestrial stations that we go out to over there in the US. I remember we used to go out to Eugene in Oregon. I'm not sure if we still do. I hope we do. Big shout out to everyone out there in Oregon. There was another couple of terrestrial networks we had as well. And I think, folks, if you want to hear us on your local radio station, phone them up and pester them. I think that's how you get this kind of thing done. But yeah, big shout out to everyone over at YouTube as well. And this is now no longer the Kev Baker Show. It's the You Show, because I'm going to open up the phones for all of you to call in, and you can speak to me about what we've been talking about here on the show today. We opened up talking about Glasgow. Then we got into some tech news, some AI. We got into the weird stuff with the birds. Wherever you want to go, I shall be here to take your call. And if you want to phone up the show, all you have got to do is call the following numbers. If you're in the US, dial the following. It's 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. Yes, I've done that really, really fast there, but I'll go back and I'll give you them again in a minute. But if you're over here in the UK, it is 0044 203 393 2871. And that's 0044 203 393 2871. So, with that said, I will now remember to add the phones this time. Remember last week I gave out the phones and told people they were on, and I forgot to add the phones? Not this week, folks. No, I'm on the ball. On the ball this week. Here we go. No, that's not it. I think I'm on the ball. Give me a second, folks. I'll add it in here. You'll hear the numbers. Oh, there we go. Yep. Boom. Okay, so that is the phones connecting right now. So if you want to call in, the numbers are 213-233-3998. And that is if you are in the UK. If you are in the...
We're sorry. The participant capacity for this conference has been exceeded. Goodbye.
Whoa, hang on a minute. Hang on. Something went horribly wrong there, folks. The capacity for this call? What are you talking about? Hang on. Let's see. Let's try that again. Oh, don't tell me the phone lines aren't going to be working. That would just be disastrous. Because there's people on the phones right now. Yes, indeed. Let me come to the United Kingdom. Oh, yes, indeed. A fellow Brit. And it's, I can't give out your number because it's like your full mobile number. And I wouldn't want to do that. I'm that bad. But you're on the line. You're in the UK. How are you doing? What's your name? And welcome to the Kev Baker Show.
My name's Alan.
All right, Alan, how are you doing?
Not bad. I think I was getting a wee bit of grief earlier on.
That's all right. I'm used to getting grief, Alan. That's okay. That's cool. You know what a Scots roll like. If we're not taking grief or giving grief, then it's not a good day. Where in Scotland are you, man?
Glasgow.
Excellent. So what were you giving me grief about?
Paisley Road West. Just after Paisley. No, it's just because, Kev, I remember a couple of years ago when I just started listening to TFR, and I used to always get mentions and everything, but I was away for I had to do a wee bit for work for Her Majesty.
As you do.
So it was just when I came back on, TFR seems to have changed a bit. So I don't know, I was trying to get in the chat room and that, and it wasn't the same. So anyway, I started listening to you just about, say, 6 weeks ago, and I've been listening to it. And just the only thing I don't agree with you is your flat earth thing. I'm not a flat earther, but I do believe that we don't live on a globe the way they say we do.
No, I don't believe it's a perfect globe either. But like I've said to flat earthers or globe earthers, I really don't care, because we'll wake up in the morning, we'll open our curtains, You down in your part of Glasgow, me in my part of Glasgow. And until the shape of the earth feeds my family or your family, Alan, what does it matter? We're still in Glasgow. We're still wherever we are, you know.
Oh, aye. As I say, I'm along the Paisley Road West, so I'm not that far from you.
No, big
just
time.
along for Ibrox a bit. But my idea of the flat earth basically is just, I don't believe it's a globe. I'm not saying it's not a globe, but it's not definitely the dimensions that we are led to believe. Because I've watched too many of the videos and, you know, about the curvature of the earth and all that, and the dimensions they give us, they don't add up. I watch, I don't know if you see Beyond the Imaginary Curve, Dale.
No.
Talking about the water and everything.
No,
and
I don't
I
know.
can tell you, I agree with everything he says, you know, about the water, because water always finds its level.
But
no matter how
you see,
start
most
off
of the
with a
videos
cup
I've
of-
watched,
cup of
most of the
coffee.
videos I've watched that try to debunk the curvature using water, the people that are presenting it, and this isn't anything against you, brother, nothing against you, but the people who are presenting it are refusing to actually talk about what the video and what their eyes are showing them. Because most of the time, as opposed to their evidence supporting no curve, their evidence 9 times out of 10, and in fact I would go as far as to say 10 times out of 10, actually supports a curve. I seen somebody talking about how the bottom of the boat isn't visible, and this proves that things can't be the way that we're told it is. The bottom of the boat disappears first because there's a curve. And the very top of the boat is the last bit that will disappear because of the curve. Now, if it was a flat plane, and again, I know you're not saying it's a flat plane, Alan. I know you're not saying that. It's just that a lot of the times when I did bother to look at the evidence, it wasn't what the people were telling me. What you're looking at and what the people are saying you're looking at, it doesn't actually match up. Now, again, that's nothing against you. That's nothing against them. And I obviously haven't watched all of the evidence out there. But as somebody that had to account for the Coriolis effect when it came to shooting down ranges, and somebody who had to go out with an actual finder to go and pick up the satellite to do SATCOMs. And again, this is nothing to do with you. This is my personal story. It's hard for me to really, you know, continue to look at some of the evidence or so-called evidence to support that theory because it just doesn't hold up. Not for me anyway, and I hope you understand, and I hope anyone listening to this understands that.
No, I understand completely what you're saying. What I will say, and I'll not go on about this for too long, it's just, see if you look at some of the videos that Beyond the Imaginary Curve, this guy Dale from Scotland, he stays just out Renfrew or something. See, when you see his videos, and I've looked at Mark Sargent. Mark Sargent, to me, is, to be honest, he's an arsehole because he goes on about
I can't have you swearing. I can't. I'm gonna have to let you go, dude. I'm gonna have to let you go because you know Mark's on our network.
Well, another thing I was going to say is about the cryptids. See your cryptids. I think you should really have a look at the Dogmen thing.
The Dogmen,
the amount of Dogmen channels.
Dude, I've got
the Dogmen channels. There's so many people that have actually witnessed the Dogmen just now, and the cryptids. The Mothmen and that I'm not too sure about, but definitely the Dogmen. I think you should really, really look into that. Like Dogmen encounters, and there's a lot of ones that do stories about them and stuff like that.
No, I will.
I would really have a good look at that because I think after the Bigfoot, Dogmen is definitely the next big thing about the cryptids.
And I'll tell you what, I'm still waiting for it.
As I say,
Alan, thank you.
I'll let you
no
go
probs.
to the next caller.
No probs, dude. No probs. And thanks for phoning in, Alan. I really appreciate it. And it's good to hear from you again. It's good to have you back with us. And it's great to know that even after a period of time, you still came back and listened to the Kev Baker Show. That's awesome. And we can always agree to disagree, whether it's the shape of a football, colour of our football teams, whatever it is, dude. Because in the end of the day, especially the two of us coming from Glasgow, we'll keep it real, right? And then to do with your Dogman stuff, I'm going to be getting Linda Godfrey onto the show. Linda is one of the busiest people out there, but she's also one of the best researchers, and she's written several books about the dog man. So I'm hoping that all the people that get in touch with me about dog man, because it's not just Alan. Sometimes I have a laugh with Chuck Bam Bam out there as well in the chat room about the dog man. I know that the dog man is becoming more and more popular out there, and people really want to hear about that. And again, to really get into it, that's why I'm trying to get Linda onto the show. Ryan Gable's done shows with Linda Godfrey before. Absolutely amazing, and gets into the real kind of the right into the dog man stuff. So I'm hoping we'll be able to do that in the near future. So we're going to area code 951. Welcome to the Kev Baker Show. What do you want to talk about today?
Oh, hey, Kev. This is Colin from Southern California. There's a phenomenon here where these people do night raids with chemicals. They put them all over roadways, treetops, rooftops. I was talking about it on the chat, and it has they use a hallucinogen if they put it in your house, and they break into your house when you're not home and come in at night and shoot it like 100 feet laterally, this clear gel that goes into a mist, and it coats everything, gets on landscapes, and causes pet, torture and stuff and fighting. And I believe it's a CIA chemical that has a hormonal control system inside the brain and gets in the adipose tissue. And the same people that are doing this also have sonic weapons, and they burst your fat cells and explode it to cause suicidal mentations. And this is a real broad phenomenon. It's been going on for 50 years, I believe, and I'm just catching on to it. Had all my houses poisoned with it, the landscape, trees, everything. It's turns white.
Now, when you say there's people spraying it, I mean, is there is this physically people spraying it, or is it drones? Is it anything like that? And for anyone out there,
yeah, no, they use teams nearby to the target. They'll move them through rental homes, and there'll be 5 or 6 of them in one house, and they work on a green light system where I just put security cams, so they created little pathways for the cam sprayers to come in and avoid the security cams, but they'll come in on a green light at a moment's notice, nearby to their targets.
And for anyone out there who might think, there might be people out there who think this is too fantastic, this is beyond belief. Folks, look historically at not only what the CIA have done when it comes to dosing people with LSD, things like that. The British government have also played about on their own population when it comes to stuff like this. Now, again, that doesn't prove what we're hearing here. I just want people to keep an open mind, because I certainly keep an open mind when I hear things like this. And, back to your call there, you say it's been going on for 50 years, and I would imagine, in various ways, shapes and forms, be it the CIA, Mossad, all of these alphabet agencies, I bet they're all playing on populations one way or another, dude. I really do honestly believe that.
Yeah, it's a layered chemical with hallucinogen, hormonal control, and a nerve degenerative for the the religious, because it must be coming through the Jesuit, the Mossad, CIA and all that, because they studied hallucinogens in the 40s and 50s of the last century. So it's pretty much a science, and then they filter you through any institutional system. Once you're economically deprived, they'll funnel you in as a crazy and slander your name and put all kinds of stuff in your record to do that. And just part of a business operation that the mental, doctors, they have covert ionizing devices in the doctor's office, exam tables will be ion beds. In other words, it's a nuclear bed that burns your whole body from the bottom up. And they have, ionizing rooms in different situations where you're covertly ionized, because ionizing you can't feel. It's a cold radiation, and it just feels
The
like
only thing
all
I
your
would say about
vitamins
that, the only thing I would say about that is, you know, I hear a lot of stories similar to this, but you'd have to imagine if there's like doctors that are using like beds that are, like you're saying, ionized and stuff like that there. Surely the people working around it, they're going to start displaying problems before anyone, right? Because if they're around it all the time.
No, they're specifically done by special agents.
Got you.
You go into a separate room and they'll keep the lights out. No, they're special. It's a graft where certain rooms are set. Well, they're rollaway ion beds. They're rollaways, so they can move them into any room and set up anything. But yeah, the employees are very afraid of them, and they know what they'll do. And but no, it's just for targeted people that they want to discredit and eliminate.
You're so right. You're so right. And I'm going to move on because we've got another call. Thank you so much for calling in.
No,
and yeah, for anyone out there with that kind of call as well, I really, really recommend you check out Ella Free. She's somebody on TFR Live that talks about targeting, stuff like that as well. She gets on a lot of the bigger kind of guests that talk about these topics as well. And again, I do believe targeting is very real. However, at the same time, I do think we've got to be very careful because there's a fine line between paranoia and then what's really going on. And again, sometimes, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean it's not real. So finally, today, let me go to Minnesota, and it's Kevin from Minnesota. How you doing, Kev? Welcome back on the show, man.
I'm doing fantastic. That was such a great call, and that is a rabbit hole that I would love to go down. But I'm calling specifically about the birds, my friend.
Yeah, the birds. That's a weird one, Kevin, right? And I remember we've spoke about this from time to time over the years. And I don't know what's this current wave that's happening. I mean, what's your take on it, dude?
Well, as I've shared with you before, inside the eyes of the bird is a metal, and I can't remember the name of it, and it's driving me crazy. CHR is what I can remember of how it's spelled. But because of this metal in the bird's eyes, the visual spectrum that they see is different than ours. They see red, blue, and purple. And because of the tilt of the Earth as it goes through its seasonal transition, the equator is usually purple, because if you denote a magnetic pole, one being red, the other one being blue, in between where they meet, are we on the same page?
Yep.
Purple in the center. And so with the way that the birds see that purple, they know that if they stay within the realm of the purple, they can survive. But now, since there is this interference that is occurring with the electromagnetic polarities, not just the physical poles of the Earth, but the actual electromagnetic poles of the Earth are doing some crazy shifting and stuff. And so if a bird gets caught up in that shift when in an instant it's out of the purple and it's in the blue and they're at too high of an altitude, they would suffocate, because it's too high for them. They were like, the pressure change was so dramatic, with their little, think of their little lungs and just poof, with the drastic change of an electromagnetic shift where all of a sudden they think they're in an area they can survive. And next thing you know, they find themselves in too cold of an atmosphere, or, that shift of it and stuff like that. But if you start witnessing, like today in Minnesota, the moon set was at the same time of when the sunset was, within an hour difference. And this is what I was discussing the last time I called, is that there's an electromagnetic shift occurring, because not only do we get the full direct electromagnetic beams of the sun, but we're also getting bombarded by the reflection of the sun on the moon. And then dissipates, it leaves overnight, and then our body is in the want of that. Some people will claim it's like vitamin D, but it's also that electromagnetic energy. But if you now start paying attention of moonrise and moonset, they are shifted almost 3 hours difference. When if you think of the so-called globe or sphere or ball spinning, if it spins 24 hours a day.
See, Kev, the only thing I would say to that is...
Congratulations.
Yeah, a new member. Thank you, Alan. The only thing I would say to that, Kev, and I've heard you talking about this before, that the kind of moon times have shifted and things like that. What do the amateur astronomers, their societies, what people that... What is anyone else reporting that the times of the moons have changed? And I don't know the times what they should be, Kev, so please don't think I'm saying you're wrong. But have we got anything else out there to support this, that the moon times have changed?
Well, if you have the calendars that have the moons, a lot of calendars nowadays have the full moon and the new moon on the calendar dates. So if you look at your calendars, if you have a calendar that's 2018, you'll see on that calendar there's 28 days between new moons and full moons. There is a fluctuation that occurs because if you think of the elliptic of the moon when it goes around the Earth, okay, it looks kind of like an oval. So if there is an electromagnetic pull or push occurring, it's going to pull the moon in a further arc away, or if it's on the opposite side, it'll pull the moon closer to the Earth, and that's when we get that appearance of the supermoon. That supermoon is because there's an electromagnetic pull or push from the other planetoids that's causing the moon to be a little bit closer to the Earth. But if that orbit, if that elliptical orbit is more like an egg, at the point of the egg, it's going to pull the moon away further. So then it's going to take more time for it to go through its elliptic, which will give that off where we're having moon rise for 10 hours, and then we're having moon set for 14 hours.
Need to keep our eye on this one.
Does that make sense, sir?
Yeah, you make sense. I mean, again, I you know me, Kev, I keep an open mind to this. I just try to look for as much supporting evidence on these claims as we can. So that way, when we make them, we're able to lay out the kind of... But that does make sense, what you're saying. And the supermoons, of course, you get them because of apogee and perigee, like you rightly stated, that elliptical orbit that we're on. I just wonder, though, because if the moon was to move further out and the orbit was to then be affected, because it would get longer, right? Wouldn't that affect the tides as well?
And what is occurring at the Ring of Fire? Because if you look at the Ring of Fire, I feel that the Ring of Fire was the collision point of when our moon struck the Earth way back, I estimate about 3.4 billion years ago. That occurred. But that Ring of Fire is affected by the season of the moon, because when the moon is so close or when the moon is too far, it'll pull away the moon, which will cause the tides, which will cause that platonic shift a little more and a little less, which causes the stress. And now I think Russia just blew a volcano that's close to the Ring of Fire, or on the second fault of the Ring of Fire.
Possibly, dude. It's always active around that part of it there, but we're almost out of time, Kev. Can you believe it? We've got 2 minutes left, brother. So
yes, and my daughters love your show. They
big shout
out with me this weekend.
A big shout
on
out
the
to your
YouTube.
yeah.
So congratulations.
A big shout out to your daughters, Kevin. Yeah, I'll have the phones open again, man. Just keep a listen open for the phones going on, and then you call us in, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on with the moon here, because, like I say, Kev's been phoning the show for a good while now, a good few years, long time listener to TFR, and this stuff with the moon. I remember the Inuits at one point as well were saying that the sunrise, where the sun rises and sets on the horizon, all that was out of whack as well. It's really interesting times that we're living in. We're living in times of great change. I know that much, folks. Now, I'll be back tomorrow. A big shout out and a big thank you to all the callers today. I'll be back tomorrow. Safe Space and Kev Baker Show right here on TFRlive.com. Wherever you are, make it TFR. And Denny, touch that dial. There we go. There we go. I'm still here with all of you crazies out there in YouTube land. How you doing? No, that was good. That was really good. And Alan, thank you so much for becoming a member, brother. And I'm so glad you phoned in. And you see, that's what I like. We can have a conversation about that topic. And we're cool. Yet you see so many times, especially online, how it just descends into madness. And like I say, I'm glad you phoned in. I'm glad you called up. I'm glad we were able to have that chat, Alan. And more importantly, away from the shape of the playing field, I'm just glad to have you back, dude. Not just listening to the Kev Baker Show, but back in the West End of Glasgow there. And I know you're close to Ibrox, but I'll let you off with that, okay? I'm only joking. I'm in the shadow of Celtic Park, so yeah, there you go. We're definitely at opposite parts of the city, man. Definite opposite parts. But listen, what's Lothar said? See, Lothar, that's what I like. That's what I like about you. You know, you didn't want to come in and steal the show every time that we open the phones. Lothar, you're welcome to phone anytime, as is anyone. People talking about my beard. Yes, I had to get it trimmed. The shoe told me I had to get it trimmed, but I am going to grow it back now. I've got like trimmers, so I can get it to a manageable state where I can keep all of you ladies happy out there, because I know the women love the beard, right? The beard and the accent and the kilt and the fact I wear nothing under it. Come on, you love it. So if I get it to just that... and cracking up in the corner. If I get it just that right length, I'm talking about my beard, girls. I'm talking about my beard. No, I'm not giving you a length, Anne. I'll give you a light. She just actually said, give me a length. Can you believe that? Was it a light you're after? There you go. Poor Anne, blushing on the couch. She's so shy compared to me. So shy. I know. Go figure. How the hell did that happen, you're asking, right? Marty, I love you too. Yes. Glad the facial hair's coming back, says Disco Duck. Yep. It's coming back, folks. It's coming back. Yep. Tiffany, thank you. Goatee. Oh. Harriet. No. Harriet, you're the woman. I'm definitely not the man. The dude, always right. The shoe's always right. Absolutely. Oh. Gilermo, I'd missed that.
Error processing text. Haha, great show, Kev. I've got my co-workers hooked.
Oh, that's awesome. Where are you from? Whereabouts is it you stay, man? That's awesome. I like that when people get the co-workers hooked. People used to think Alex Jones was absolutely, like, intolerable in my work. But then after a few years, it would get to, like, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the boss would be coming in for a cup of tea. Big shout out to Greg. I know you're probably not listening now, but he'd come in for a cup of tea and be coming to that wind down time of day, and Greg usually, invariably, not putting Alex Jones on. So yeah, doing it at work, it's very effective. What? Oh, poor Jonesy's never done anything to you, Anne. Come on. Fort Worth, Texas, that's it. I couldn't remember, brother. I couldn't remember. Absolutely awesome. Alan says maybe we can get a pint after the cup final when we beat you for the first cup. Respect both Old Firm. Scottish football back up the rankings. Exactly, dude. That's the way I see it as well. I love the banter. And because I'm not from Glasgow, I probably don't get quite as passionate as some people do, like violent over it. So I definitely think we could enjoy a pint, even if hell was to freeze over and your team somehow win that day, I could still enjoy a pint with you. I'm winding you up, pal. Of course we could enjoy a pint. Hairy men are the best, says Magog. Either you're a hairy man yourself or you're a woman that likes the hairy man. Either way. Marty still loves the dancing pineapple. There you go. $10, I dance for you as a pineapple anytime. I'm only joking. Where did that even come from? Dang, get a 70s mustache? Absolutely. I've got a velvet jacket in the room as well. I've got like a velvet jacket. It's like this kind of maroon velvet jacket. I've got a cravat. And when I get the porn tash, it's brown chicken, brown cow. Oh, come on, Anne. You've seen it. Oh, come on. Anne will just want to take me to bed or lose me forever when I wear that. Exactly, Marty. Exactly. That whole hairy back thing. What is that all about? There was a guy in my work. He literally was a Sasquatch. Big Jamesy. Seriously, you could see like the hairs would be popping out. They'd be like bursting out the holes in his shirt. Stuff like that. And then like if you ever got sweat on his back, he was like a bear. We literally called him the bear. What is that? Why does your back need to get so damned hairy? Does it think you're going to run out of clothes sometime soon? I have no idea. What else have we got happening in here? What's the difference between a soccer hooligan from Scotland and a person in the United States who goes to Popeye's chicken? At least in the United States, you get a chicken, maybe, if you win. That's about the only difference I can think. Michael Onesour, a big hello to you. Some may remember me, Michael. I'm trying to remember the name. Disco's got the 6th Sense going. Looking very, very good in your profile picture, 6th Sense, yes. Disco Duck even. Angela, honey from Black Seed Blossom is great. King Sweet, I'm not going to read that out. That definitely sounds dodgy. Hairy back, oh yeah, oh no. Neil, a big, lots of love and much respect to you from myself, Anne, and Big Kevin, yes. What else we got? Kev, what about the Chinese phone book? So many wings and wongs, and everyone kept winging the wrong number. I love it. See, Alan? See, there we go, man. That's what we're talking about. My back is so hairy, I have hands growing out of it. Polar bear stare. Hang on, I like that. That was pretty cool. Oh, that's some really serious music going on right there. Oh, hang on. And I have to tell you that Marty, she's got your back with a shoe I carry in my back pocket for Kevo if he's needed while you're gone. So while you're at work, Anne, and I'm doing the stream, there's people with shoes out there ready to get me. Oh, you know, she's actually nodding, really, really happy now. Honestly, Marty, you've made her day. Disco in the mouth? I've definitely missed a bit of this conversation. Definitely missed a bit. What's Lothar saying? What did you say, Lothar? I missed it. Where's Lothar gone? I missed Lothar. Lothar, hairy backs go good with hairy moose knuckles. The person who makes this music is actually insane. Dude, I'm very limited what music I can use. I had to get it from like the YouTube safe list. It's like their copyright free stuff. Marty says there, right side groin, maybe it's inguinal. See, I can't read, folks. You need to get your writing and your spelling spot on, because I can't read at the best of times. I was referring to the extraordinary hairy friend of Kev's, yes indeed. That's really Wong, right? Oh, Neil, you'd have been proud of me yesterday. So would you, Alan. I was on the phone to like my internet service provider, and it was one of these call centers in a far off land, right? And it was so noisy. They were all sitting there playing backgammon or, I don't know, watching a football match or something. And do you know she had the cheek to tell me to speak up a little bit. You couldn't hear me. Well, it was almost the last thing she ever told anyone ever to do. Like, you can't hear me? Maybe you ought to tell your colleagues to shut the F up then. I'm the one paying your wages. I'm the one phoning you. Yeah, she triggered Kev Boy badly. Yeah, she knows not to do no Wong next time. White? Oh. What? Oh, and I know what's Wong from White. Stop it. Oak Island on tonight, Annie. Oak Island on tonight. Disco says, shave that back. I'm fully manscaped, I'll have you know. Now, again, people will be thinking again, is he actually manscaped? What do you mean, no? Is that how long you've been since you looked, Dan? I've given myself a Brazilian down there and you didn't even know about it. That's how long it's been. What's that all about, folks? I dyed it purple in 1999. She hasn't seen it. What's that all about? Carved a shine like a happy face on it, like a good-mannered emoji. Hashtag good manners emoji. A yellow card on my ball bag. I even dyed it and everything. She hasn't even seen it. Terrible. Who posts the weirdest videos on YouTube? Me? Today? Probably. Yep. Manscaped. Absolutely, man. Has anyone ever noticed? It was Kristen that told me this. But have any of you people out there noticed that when you click into my videos, that there's like a Dr. Squatch advert for like manscaping? I think it knows that I'm toxic, right? So what's it say here? First world problems. I had to ring Google, put me through to India. No help at all. Spent 10 minutes both asking each other what we said. That's the way it goes. Now, hang on. Stop the music. Jason, I'm glad you came in there, brother. Jason, have you done your video yet? Have you done your... Whoa, I wasn't telling... Did I make you people laugh out there? I can't help it if she's not seen my little good-mannered emoji. What can I say? I know it's, if you like go like that, it looks like a man on a pogo stick. It does, he looks like a wee man on a pogo stick. A one-eyed man on a pogo stick, or is it a one-eyed pogo stick? Who knows? Jason, have you done your trailer yet? I've gone absolutely mad and I need to stop speaking about my own private parts. I think that's definitely in the new terms of service from YouTube. You can't be speaking about your own junk, especially this way, right? Like a man on a pogo stick. What's that all about? So, no idea. Toxic good. Yes, it is up. Okay, so what we're going to do, folks, ignore the last 5 minutes of non-radio, all right? Because we're not on radio anymore. We're on YouTube. What the hell am I talking about? But just ignore all of that. Now we're going to get serious again, okay? I'll put on my music for getting serious. There we go. So, as we know, one of our very own, he's one of our own. It's a soccer song in the UK. Don't worry about it, folks. Jason in the chat room. First world problems. He is embarking on his own little paranormal investigating career. Him and his partner. Now, we've watched one of their investigations, and that was the one with the big red orb. Well, Jason has got number 2 investigation lined up, and we're going to take a look at the trailer for his upcoming investigation. So what we'll do here is we go to first world problems. We go to channel. There he is there. 122 subscribers. Come on, folks. I'm going to drop this in the chat room. Let's get people subbing up. Marty. Anne sounds fun. Disco Duck. I want to hang with Anne. Oh, she's making noises going whoop whoop. So yeah, that's it. Marty, Disco, Anne. Sounds like we're gonna have a party, girls. I'll have my kilt on, manscaped, pogo stick man out. No? Not like that, Anne? Ah, damn. Ghost hunting then. Will we go for that? Sounds better. Here we go. So this one from Jason is called HMP, Her Majesty's Prison, Shepton Mallet. Let's take a look at this. That's awesome. Dang, dude. Dang, and you done that on iMovie again? Seriously, on like your iPhone? That's unbelievable, brother. Unbelievable. And I'll share that over on the old Twatterati right now. Hashtag paranormal. Yeah, dude, that looks good. And there's something about prisons, man. Something about prisons. Always said that. Prisons, asylums, like boarding schools where the kids had to stay there kind of thing. Hospitals, all these places. I think it's because of the emotions, the feelings, the stuff that was going on there, whatever it is. It just makes these places, supercharged with like paranormal activity. Let's see what Polar Bear Stare says. Spirit box and K2 meter. Are you getting that? That's awesome. Marty's going to be in bed for a week. Oh, yous are all going out on the town. Oh, guarantee Anne outdrinks the two of you. She is like a fish. You have to check her for holes in her feet. It's like, I don't know where the drink goes, but nice. I hardly see it. Scary even when not haunted. Dude, exactly. John Fuller. Now, that's high praise, Jason. When somebody as artistic as John tells you that that's great work, that there is more than I could ever compliment you, dude. That tells you how good you are. And keep going, because I can imagine, you know, when you're doing the paranormal, especially, there's going to be times when maybe a couple of investigations, maybe you don't get much. It's going to be easy to kind of maybe lose heart. But don't, dude, because you've definitely got an eye for this. And you're genuinely interested in it. Jay-Z army bases as well. Yeah, big time. Big time. You're welcome to check out my Area 51 hilarious video. Awesome. No, we'll do that tomorrow, Lothar. Hang on, we'll go to your channel, try and find it just now. No, hang on, I'll try and find it. And then we'll check that out, and then I'll get going. I'll let you get back to Lothar 900. There we go. There he is. Right. Area 51, where are we? Storming Area 51, was that it? Right, Lothar, you're not going to get me hit with any crazy music, are you? No violations going on here.
My name's Randy. We're going to Area 51. We're gonna go check and see what's there. Probably nothing, but we're going to go check. Make sure to head to Las Vegas so you can go to Area 51. Follow the signs there. Hello, this is Eddie from Minnesota. We're heading down to Area 51 if you want to all follow me there. We're going to go in August 20th and...
Do you know what's hilarious about this, though? The fact that I can still hear your strong Canadian accent, no matter what accent you put on. That's what makes it funny. Check it out and go.
follow all the people down and go across the desert and to find some UFOs. You know, because we got a lot of UFOs in Minnesota.
That's just pure Canadian, man. Whereabouts are you from? Dude, I love your accent. That's why me and Anne are laughing. We watch Oak Island and sometimes they go and speak to like contractors and there's this guy that does like the metal work. I swear, I can barely understand a word he says, unless he says boots, because then it just sounds like oots, and it's all the time.
Alrighty, we'll talk to you later, guys.
Bonjour, I am from France. We are all heading to Area 51 to find the UFOs. Now, are you going to join me or not? I'll bring my wine and my French baguettes. Very interesting.
Nancy Pelosi in that, man.
Don't you think?
It's not a good look.
Area 51, are you coming? Huh? Bring treats. Treats.
Oh.
Area 51, let's go. I've been a cowboy for quite a long time now, and I got the sugar diabetes.
Do you know if all of your characters here had turned up at Area 51, that would have doubled the amount of people that did turn up at Area 51, dude. You should have sent them.
Maybe I'll head down to Area 51 and go take a look at those little funny.
And people getting ready now. I'm winding it up, folks. But Mama, Marty, everyone in there, thank you so, so much for tuning in today. It means the world to me. I'm going to listen to another minute of this. We'll listen to it on the Safe Space tomorrow in full, because I'm liking this. This is quite comical.
Aliens. Those funny people. The funny looking kind. You know, with the eyes on top of their head. I'd sure like to see one of those guys and shoot them with my 6-shooter.
We're heading to Area 51. Bring your comic books. We're gonna have a great convention. Don't you think? Yeah.
Hello, I am Clarice. And we're heading to Area 51. Why don't you join us? I have psychic abilities.
Are you going to Area 51 after you've done, like, story time at the library, dressed as this? Oh, I'm only joking.
I'm sure I can find some aliens somewhere.
Oh, the bunny rabbits are going to be there. Are you? We can run faster.
You see, Lothar, I'm too toxic to use that one. I don't like the ones that make me look slightly feminine. I don't know. I don't know. Again, we're going back to my mum damaging me with that costume, aren't we? I've got issues. That's what it is. I'm going to say.
Bring carrots. Bring carrots. Or carrot cake. Carrot cake. Carrot cake, yeah. Carrot cake with lots of carrots. Around the side.
You guys are all funny. We're heading down to Area 51. I used to work down there. Got some jaw disease or something. I guess it might be from spitting up tobacco. Yeah, we'll have a fun time down there. Hello, I am Sergei the Russian astronaut.
No, you're not. I know Sergey, and he doesn't look like that. Now you're just lying. See, you almost had me, Lothar, but I know Sergey doesn't look like that.
I have been floating around in outer space for quite a while now. If you can get me down from here, I'd like to go see Area 51, you know. Okay. That's so done, yeah.
Hello, people. This is...
Folks, can you believe that? They actually, like, put... they mansplained to people what Area 51 is, you know. Just in case people don't know what it is.
Jennifer, we're heading down to Area 51 to go take a look at the UFOs, what we find.
Hello, people. guess what? I wouldn't go down there. You know why? I'll tell you why. Bang, bang. You're gonna get shot. You know that. You're never gonna make it. Never, ever gonna make it. You can try. But I don't think so. You got balloons? Maybe you can fly over. Oh, maybe you can dig a tunnel. Maybe it's 400 degrees in the desert and you're not going to make it. Can you move your green fat ass out of my laptop there, buddy? This is my new friend from Area 51. He's dancing on my laptop. You're blocking my channel logo, you bastard.
That's pretty cool. That's like one of those augmented reality ones, right? Right? 'Cause it's not there, but it's on your laptop dancing about. That's pretty cool. But folks, Lothar, you're a star. Everyone, I want to thank you all for being here. It's been absolutely great. We've had a good fun the last couple of, 20 minutes here as well. I just want to thank all of you for turning up again. I'll be back tomorrow on the Safe Space live stream during the day between 5 and 7. And then I'll be back on the main show tomorrow night. And we'll open up the phones again. Great calls tonight. Be great calls tomorrow. And I'm just loving how it's all going right now. So until next time, folks, keep looking for the woo. Keep your minds open, but not to the point where the brain turns to black goo. I'm out of here. Can't have that gay music on. You just can't have that music on. I refuse. Well, we have the white hats. We can't have the white hats either, right? Can't have the white hats. Safe Space music. We're out of here. You know what's happening. You know it.